In this week's video, I want to talk about a photography technique that is as beneficial to macro photographers as it is to landscape photographers, and I'm talking about focus stacking. So I want to demonstrate to you what it is, how it works. I've got lots of tips to share as usual, so I hope you're going to stick around and enjoy the video. Welcome to the Photo Genius channel. Hi, Paul here from Photo Genius. Welcome to my channel where I post regular photography tutorials, all designed to help you get more from your digital camera so you can take better photos. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Now, in this week's video, I want to take a look at a technique that you can use to create highly detailed and in focus images. I want to share with you some example images that I've taken. I've got lots of tips as usual to share with you, but I think the best place to begin is to answer the question, what exactly is meant by focus stacking? Take a look at this image of a coin. If we zoom in, you will see that the front of the coin is in focus, but the rest of the image is out of focus. This is called a shallow depth of field. This can be a real issue when doing macro photography. But take a look at this image. Now, as you can see, the coin is now in focus and sharp throughout, and has lots of detail that would actually be hard to see with the naked eye. So how did I do this? Well, of course, this is a focus stacked image consisting of 6 individual images of this tiny coin stacked together. Let me show you. I began by placing the camera's focus point just at the very front edge of the coin. I then moved the focus point for image 2, and let's zoom in a touch so this is easier to see the edge of the coin, which is clearly in focus. I then moved the focus point again for image 3, and repeat until I've reached the top edge of the coin. So now we have 6 individual images. This is the result of all the images focus stacked. So now I'm going to create a focus stacked image of this flower, this time using a Canon camera, the standard 18 to 55mm kit lens, and a macro extension tube to get me closer and hopefully capture more detail. The lens is set to manual focus, so to begin with, I'm adjusting the focus so the petals of the flower closest to the camera are in focus. I'm using the remote to take the photo. I then simply and very gently adjust the focus. The smaller the adjustment, the better. I then take a second shot and once again very carefully adjusting the focus and repeat. So here is the first image, and if we take a look at the rest of the images one by one, you can of course see a small area where the flower is in focus. In total, I took 18 images. Adjusting the focus manually by turning the focus ring yourself is actually pretty easy to do, but incredibly fiddly, so it is worth checking to see if your camera can do this for you. So now I want to take the images that I shot with this Canon camera and merge them together. And to do this, I'm going to be using a program called Helicon Focus. Now this is the preferred choice for many macro photographers as an alternative to Photoshop. Now, if you are a Photoshop user, don't worry, I've got you covered too. We're going to take a look at that in just a sec. So after opening up Helicon Focus, to begin, all I needed to do was to drag the images into the center of the screen. And now you see over to the right, we have a stack of 18 source images. Now to merge the images together, all I need to do is click on the render icon. Now this sequence, by the way, has not been sped up. This is actually how fast the software is. Of course, this may vary depending on your computer. As you can see, the result I think is pretty amazing, and you wouldn't be able to get this level of detail in a single image. Now remember, this image behind me was not shot with an expensive macro lens. Instead, I used a macro extension tube. Now these are very affordable. It's a great way of doing macro photography on a budget. And if you want to find out more about these, I've actually made a dedicated video all about them. You'll find a link at the end of this video. Okay, now it's time to talk about focus stacking for landscape photographers. Take a look at this image of Brisbane. Now for this I focused on the rocks in the foreground, and because the image was shot with a wide lens and a small aperture, the depth of field is very large and most of the image looks sharp. But if we zoom in and take a look at this building in the distance, as you can see, it is soft and out of focus. So I took a second image, this time focusing on the building that was previously out of focus. As we zoom in again, we see the image looks nice and sharp. That is until we get to the foreground. And of course, the rocks are out of focus. Now, just to be sure, I also took a third image, this time focusing on the bridge, as it's a midway point between the rocks in the foreground and the buildings in the background. And here is the result, all three images focus stacked. As you can see, the image is sharp throughout, all the way from the rocks in the foreground to the building in the distance. Now, if you're keen to give focus stacking a go, make sure you keep watching because I've got some great tips to share that will help you nail your shots, plus how to focus stack using Photoshop. So a few days ago I spent some time at the Brilliant White studio photographing some old vintage cameras courtesy of Susan from Brisbane Camera Hire. I absolutely adore these film cameras. I love the details, the chrome, the dials, but equally the scratches and signs of wear and tear. These are cameras that are old, yet they still work, and it's good to see they occasionally get used. These images were all focus stacked using Photoshop. I was particularly happy with this one as this camera belonged to my granddad and I will never let it go. Now I'm actually considering getting some prints made as I think they would make really great wall art. So let me now show you how this was done using Adobe Photoshop. So the first thing I need to do is to select the 20 images that I wish to focus stack. Now, because these are raw images, the images will first open up in the Camera Raw app. If you shoot JPEG, you won't see this and you will go straight into Photoshop. So I'm going to select all of the images, a very minor tweak, and then hit open. And here we are in Photoshop. Now, the first thing I need to do is to get all 20 images stacked. So for this, go to File, choose Scripts, and select Load Files into a Stack. Now, because the files are already open in Photoshop, I can simply choose Add Open Files and hit OK. And in the Layers panel over to the right, we can see all 20 images in separate layers. Now next, I need to make sure all 20 layers are selected. I then go to Edit and choose Auto Align Layers and select Auto. Now this will take a few seconds. What Photoshop is doing is making sure all the images are aligned. So say for example I had accidentally moved the camera between shots, the software will fix this and realign the images. Once that's done, we go back to Edit, select Auto Blend Layers and make sure you select Stack Images. Once again, hit OK. Now this is where the magic happens, and this can also take a while depending on how many images you are stacking and how big the files are. Of course, raw images will take longer. And here, the final edit. As you can see, I spent a bit of time in Photoshop removing the strap and I cleaned up the background. These images were taken with my Nikon Z6, and rather than adjust the focus manually myself, I took full advantage of a camera function called Focus Shift Shooting. Also known as focus bracketing, this feature is available in some cameras. Okay, so it's getting towards the end of the video now. A few more bonus tips for you before we wrap things up. But I just want to say, if you've been enjoying this video, please consider hitting the like button. You'll find it somewhere down here. Giving this video a thumbs up helps it get noticed. Okay, now one of the key things when taking photos that you are going to stack is consistency, both in terms of exposure and also white balance. So my recommendation is to shoot, if possible, in the manual mode so you can lock in your aperture, shutter speed and ISO. Same goes for white balance. If you use auto white balance, there may be some inconsistencies between the shots and this could ruin your image. So instead use one of the preset modes. Now in terms of aperture, somewhere between f8 and f11 should give you some of the sharpest results, but experiment because every lens is different. And finally, if you haven't got a dedicated macro lens, consider macro extension tubes, a great way of taking amazing macro photos on a budget. As I mentioned earlier, I've made a video all about them. You want to check that out. You'll find a link in the description below. I'll also pop one up here for you as well. So I really hope you've enjoyed this week's video and you picked up some great tips. Don't forget, if you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It does make a difference. And also make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on future videos from me. All that's left to do is to say thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. See ya. Bye. So I took this shot just as I had finished editing the video. I thought I would add it as a thank you to you for watching to the end. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel.